I'm back for another podcast episode. Some of you mentioned I talk a bit too fast, and you'd prefer if I slowed down, so today I've really tried to keep that thought locked in my mind. Slow down, slow down. Please let me explain myself for a moment. You know, my podcast style is quite spontaneous, like friends just calling each other to chat. When I normally talk to my friends, I speak super fast, like watching YouTube on 2x speed. Because honestly, when I watch YouTube or movies, I usually set it to at least 1.5x, so I forget that normal pace. When I first started recording, I was a bit slower. But then, once I get into the groove, once I get into the main flow of the story, I start speaking super asterisk fast. I get so engrossed, I completely forget to slow down and I just rush through everything. Actually, when I was editing, because I'm so used to that speed, I didn't even notice I was talking fast. Not until about 10 of you told me, "Oh my, you're going too fast, you're talking too quickly." That's when I tried listening back, comparing my podcast to others, and I was shocked, everyone. I was genuinely shocked, like, oh my goodness, how can I talk this fast? Like a total rapper. So now I've ingrained it in my mind. Today, I will make this podcast episode slow and steady, talking truly slowly. Do any of you have a particular fear? I've always had a fear of saying goodbye to someone. It's not just romantic partners, it's friends, or even just someone who's been a part of my life for a brief moment. Even if they just fleetingly pass through my life, saying goodbye to them is enough to make me miss them terribly. In Japanese, there's a word I can't quite remember what it is. I tried researching and looking it up on Google yesterday before recording this podcast. It's essentially a goodbye, but both parties implicitly understand they'll never meet again. I fear and despise that kind of farewell. I'm someone who's terrified of loss, which is why I have very few people in my life. This might sound a bit strange, but because I fear loss, I make very few friends. I believe that the more people I let into my life, the more opportunities there will be for people to leave. That increases the probability of people leaving, of saying goodbye to me, and I can't bear it. I simply can't become immune to loss. Sometimes, someone appears in my life for just a few short moments, but when they leave, I get incredibly sad. It's unbearable. That's why when I was deciding my major for university, my mom suggested, "Why don't you become a teacher?" I told her, "Oh, Mom, I can't do that. If I become a teacher, I'd have to say goodbye to a class of students every year, right? A class that I've grown attached to. And then one day, I'd have to say goodbye to them year after year. I can't stand it, everyone." I'm the kind of person who sometimes feels overly sensitive, a bit too melodramatic, but that's just how I am. I think many girls are like me. Many fear saying goodbye to someone. The other day, I read a quote in an article that said, "Our entire lives, we are just looking for guests to attend our own funeral." When I read that, it made me nostalgic. I thought of old friends, of people who have walked out of my life, and I miss them so much. I believe separation, whether active or passive, is always heartbreaking. It's not that the person who actively initiates a breakup doesn't feel pain, they do. In some cases, I was the one who initiated the breakup, but afterward, I was incredibly miserable, distraught, and sad. For a long time, I felt like a part of me was missing. Do you understand that feeling? When someone enters your life, they occupy a certain space, right? And when they leave, that space becomes empty. So there's a void in my life. Naturally, at first, I can't get used to that feeling, and I just feel like a part of my life is empty, a piece is missing. It takes a lot of time to get used to that void or to fill it. And as you know, some voids can be filled, but some just remain there forever, unfillable. Even if they are filled, it's only a patchwork. When someone leaves me, I don't just miss them. I miss the person I was asterisk when I was with them. They leave, and they take a part of my life with them. I always remember how I felt when I was with them, how I laughed, how I talked, our old habits. All of that, when they leave, makes me miss them terribly, and I just can't bear it, everyone. I don't know how else to describe it, but I feel incredibly painful. And the worst thing is that, when someone leaves, I also feel like I've lost myself. When you enter a relationship, you inevitably change to some extent. In any relationship, we need to adapt and change. And when they leave, the person I was then will never be the same as before they arrived. I start to feel like I've lost myself. For me, the two hardest words to say are hello for the first time and goodbye for the last. Between those two words, hello and goodbye, lie countless memories, hugs, meetings, arguments, sleepless nights together, everything. And do you know what's really terrible? It's when we end a relationship, but it ends unhappily. Well, of course, no breakup is truly happy. But the worst thing is when we end a relationship with hostility, attacking each other, or holding grudges. For me, that's the absolute worst. When I was little, I used to think I was the center of the universe, and everyone had to revolve around me. If someone did something I didn't like, I'd immediately kick them out of my life, ending relationships by verbally attacking them, nagging them, and making sarcastic remarks. Now, when I look back, that was such a heartbreaking way to end things. So many things I wanted to say, so many things unsaid, and so many things that couldn't be said. I wanted to say thank you, thank them for appearing in my life. I didn't get to say how much they hurt me, nor did I get to ask how I might have hurt them. And the unspeakable thing, asking them, please don't leave, can we go back to how things used to be? That's the thing I knew, even if I said it, it wouldn't change anything. And the absolute worst thing is when someone suddenly disappears from a relationship. They just vanish from your life, and that last time, there was no preparation. No time for a final hug, no time to say the things left unsaid, no time to leave any last messages. Once my boyfriend and I had an argument. I was so angry that I said, if you keep acting like this, sometimes I just want to disappear from your life. I said that. At the time, he just held me and comforted me, but a little later he said, imagine if one day I just disappeared and you couldn't text me, couldn't call me, couldn't see me. How would you feel? I said. I'd probably go crazy. I'd cry so much, and I'd be so worried, wondering if something bad had happened to you. I just sat there telling him how I would feel if he suddenly vanished from my life. He listened patiently to everything I said, and then he told me, then don't do that to me. What you can't bear, I can't either. So don't do those things to me. That taught me a valuable lesson: never suddenly disappear from a relationship. I think there are many ways for us to say goodbye to someone, and I can imagine many scenarios. But it seems the last times often happen silently. We don't know it's the last time, and from then on, no matter what we do, we can never meet them again. It's like fate has run its course. It's a tiny city, but you still can't bump into them again. As I mentioned earlier, when they leave a void in our lives, right? The first human reflex when there's a void is to find a way to fill it, and to want to fill it as quickly as possible. We choose another relationship to patch things up, like filling in the blanks. In English, there's a term called rebound. It means when you've just ended a relationship, you want to find another one to replace it, using this new relationship to patch up the old one. Maybe it's because you can't stand being lonely, or maybe you only see the new person as a replacement. Or it could be that there were things in the previous relationship that you didn't get to do or regretted not doing, so you see this new relationship as a chance to fix your mistakes. And I think that's cruel, just like the lyrics of Bey's song, "The one who was hurt hurts others again." In the once popular movie, M. Va Trin, Michiko says, borrowing one love to erase another is just patching up the soul. So, everyone, if you've just ended a relationship, and I'm not just talking about romantic partners here, but also best friends or anyone important to you, don't look for a replacement relationship. We need to allow ourselves time to heal. Time will make things better. Time doesn't erase anything. It just helps us adapt to a new life without the old things. Time doesn't erase anything at all. When they first leave us, when they first move away, we are so vulnerable. All we feel is heartache, and we probably don't have the strength to do anything. During that whole period, I just cried. I often read in a psychology book that you can't heal a wound if you keep pretending it doesn't hurt. I realized, now is not the time to pretend to be strong. I need to focus on healing myself. That was the time I allowed myself to grieve. Even now, I can't bear to recall that period. When I end a relationship, the first thing I think of is deleting their contact, blocking them on social media, deleting all photos in my album. But I discovered something. No matter what I do, they always exist in my mind. Sometimes I get tired of it, I keep missing them. So I just live with that pain. I accept that I hurt, and I hope that with time, I might feel better. My life just continued like that until one day, I realized that I no longer thought of them frequently. And the act of forgetting someone and forgetting to remember someone are two entirely different definitions. We can't truly forget someone, we just stop remembering them. Because the more we try to forget, the more we remember, and memories can't be put to sleep. So I just live with that longing and consider it a part of my life. And then one day, I suddenly realized, wow, it's been a long time since I thought of them. And that's when I knew it was a good sign that I was slowly letting go. Now, after going through a few breakups in my relationships, I realize that when we miss someone, sometimes the longing is for the memories, not for the person themselves. Because memories will always remain, but people don't. People always change, but memories never do. And those memories, those experiences, can both hurt us and warm our hearts. Some things are eroded by time, but there are some memories that, no matter how much time passes, we can never consign to oblivion. I believe we grow up and mature through experiences and memories. Those memories shape our inner selves and lead each person to develop in a certain direction. So I think, it's okay. It's okay to lose someone. I mean, okay? Here doesn't mean it's fun to lose them, but rather, if it happens, you just have to deal with it. Don't let it haunt you forever. Moreover, when you miss someone, it means you and they shared many beautiful memories together, and that's a million times better than never having anything at all. And what's more, when you miss them, it means you've loved and been loved. Not everyone in this world gets to experience that. Many people are so hardened that it's difficult for them to love another. So, it's okay to miss someone. It's truly okay. I once read this quote: "Maturity is when we have to say goodbye to some people, and perhaps even to our past selves." Many relationships don't end immediately, they gradually fade, and both sides can see it coming, but they do nothing to revive it. That's when we still have feelings but have stopped trying for each other. Perhaps it's because both sides are no longer on the same wavelength. So, staying together longer wouldn't accomplish anything more, even knowing it wouldn't go anywhere if continued. In the past, whenever I ended a relationship, I would tell my mom, and I'd be so sad. I'd say, "Mom, I'm so sad." And my mom would tell me, "A tree needs to be pruned to grow, my dear." Ah, so that's how it is. A tree that wants to grow must shed some branches. Sometimes, letting go decisively is a form of courage. On the journey of growing up, there will be times when we have to give up certain things. Does it hurt? Of course, it hurts. But it's worth it, which is why they say letting go decisively is a form of courage. We are courageous because we dare to face the truth and dare to let go. I read a line in Shoe Dog that went something like this: "Sometimes you have to know when to give up, when to move on to something else. That's wisdom." Giving up doesn't mean stopping. Never stop. So if one day you feel something dying in your heart, don't worry. Right in that very spot, something else is about to sprout. And I read another quote: "Sometimes things don't work out because the universe is trying to protect you." Often, when we end a relationship, of course, it's sad, but afterward, we find people who are more compatible. By compatible, I don't mean better or more accomplished, I mean more harmonious and fitting with each other. So endings aren't always bad because an ending is also a beginning. It's okay. I say that, but I've been super sad myself. No one likes endings. But if an ending happens, you just have to bear it. And I have a belief, a powerful belief. I believe that one beautiful day, someone will walk into my life and then intentionally stay, unwilling to ever leave. So, I hope the same for all of you.